Hey, what's up, guys? This is Guy here with KBTrainings. Welcome to this live. Today is Sunday, June 30th, 2024. I'm here to talk about my ZTP and SD-WAN design. This is the design I have built in my lab here. I'm going to explain a little more about this design. And of course, I did make a mistake here. This is supposed to be 150.0. So this is going to be the design where I'm going to practice zero-touch provisioning and software-defined WAN with Fortinet. And I'm going to show you how this is built, what I'm using, and how you can reproduce the same thing. So this is going to be used in our future videos because I'm going to show you. Today, we're not going to do the configuration or we're not going to practice any ZTP today. This is just me showing you the layout of the design and how it's built physically with the gear that I have behind me here and virtually with my ESXi host that I have back there. We're going to log in. I'm going to show you everything, how you can integrate all those links using VLANs, and that's the content for today. So thank you for joining. My name is Guy. If you see me for the first time, I created KBTrainings to share with you my knowledge and everything that I know in this field. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at the handles that you see there, both my personal and business as well with KBTrainings. And also one of the things that I do is that I teach you and I give you those trainings that can help you start to boost your career in the tech field. I specifically provide a CCNA training right now. That's the first one I have. But there's going to be more trainings coming on the platform. So if you go on kbtrainings.com or en.kbtrainings.com in English, you're going to see the course. I provide the same thing in French as well, but I assume most of you here speak English, so that's where you need to go. Thank you for joining. Let me take a quick look at the chat to see if we have some people online. Yes, we do. Hi, Emerge, always there. Thank you so much for being loyal on every Sunday. Hi, we are here, Mr. French. Oh, you missed the French. Okay, Emerge speaks French and English as well, and he follows me in both languages. That's great. Let's take a look on Facebook. Yes, we have Dandino Dings. That's on Facebook. Hi. And please don't forget to share the link, share the video, make sure we help the community grow, and also subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any of this. So, as I said, this video will be referred to in future videos, in our future labs. I'm going to refer to this for the design, for the topology. So what we try to practice is SD-WAN with and zero-touch provisioning. Actually, the end goal would be for companies or for an administrator to be able to just provide a serial number to FortiManager, and FortiManager will build everything, and it's going to be ready for the new device to come in and grab all the configurations that are needed. So that's going to be the end goal. So we're going to do ZTP and SD-WAN at the end. And by the end, we're going to have this full design where this is the hub number one, or maybe the main hub. And I consider this in the HQ or the headquarters. And behind it, we may have what we can call a data center. Let's say we have like some private applications running in here or private resources that need to be accessed from the branches. So this is the hub one. At this time, the hub one is a physical device that is behind me. I'm going to show it to you. And this is the branch number one and the branch number two. So for SD-WAN, we're going to build a hub and spoke topology. So this is going to be the hub and the spokes will be the branches. And we can add as many spokes as needed. And in my design as well, I am not only going to have physical devices, I'm going to have VMs. I'm going to show you how you can integrate the VMs in this topology as well. So that's going to be the goal. And to begin with, the very first thing, the central element of all of this is the WAN section of it, or the ISP. I'm using 1M or 1 emulator. It's something that I've talked about here. I have a video about it. I can leave it in the description for you later or the comment. So 1 emulator is going to be my WAN simulator. So I'm going to have 2 WAN connections going to each site, 2 to the headquarters and 2 for each of the branches. So 1 emulator is installed on my ESXi as well, so it's virtual. Again, just like I said, some of these devices are physical. The hub one is my FortiGate ADE PoE that I have behind me. Let me show it to you. All right, so by the way, I have this flag here. This is a Congolese flag. Today is June 30th. It's the Independence Day for the Congo. So I am from the Congo, as some of you may know. So I wish good Independence Day to all the Congolese around the world. That's why I have this, just a tribute to my country. So right here, I have the FortiGate ADE. That is my hub at this point. And it's connected to this switch. I'm going to show you how you can integrate the physical port from the gate to the switch all the way back to your ESXi host. So this is going to be the hub. And I have two FortiGate 71F up here. These are going to be the branches. And of course, all three of them are connected to the switch. And let's go inside. I'll show you how the switch integrates with the virtual environment. The first thing you have to know, if you are familiar with ESXi, there is this notion of port group. In this design, each connection that you see here, WAN HQ, WAN HQ2, WAN BR1, WAN to BR1, all of these are port group in ESXi. So if your design stays virtual, if you don't go out to a physical device or to physical infrastructure like I do here, all you need to do is make sure that your two end or your two network interface card or virtual network interface card are in the same port group. So these will communicate privately, and that will work just fine. So if I want it, like in my case, I want it to go out to a physical device, what I have to do is have different port groups, of course, and also attach each port group to a certain VLAN ID, so that when the traffic from this port group comes out, it has a certain VLAN tag. Let's say the VLAN number 151 or maybe 130. And then inside my local network, I know that every traffic coming with a VLAN 150 is part of the WAN HQ, and I'm going to connect it to a physical device, and that port will integrate or interact with a virtual device that is connected to that same port group. That is, in theory, what's happening here. It should be very easy to implement if you know how to play with VLANs in your local network or whatever infrastructure you're playing with. So this is implemented in my case from my FortiGate, my main FortiGate from my lab. I'm going to log into it right now. We'll show you everything. So the main FortiGate has all these VLANs already created. And these VLANs are matching the VLANs that I have attached to the port group. So I have a single port of my ESXi host that is a trunk. So a lot of all the VLANs are coming through that port. And when it gets in, each VLAN goes to the appropriate or towards the associated port group. And that's how I differentiate the traffic. Even this, let's say right here, I have the Windows HQ. This is a virtual device. It's a VM. I actually have it under Linux. It's a Rocky Linux, but that doesn't matter. It's the same principle. So this is a Rocky Linux VM. I just need to make sure it's connected to the HQ LAN port group. The NIC is connected to the HQ LAN, and also the port where the physical ADE FortiGate is connected to, that port is attached to the VLAN, whatever the VLAN ID is for the HQ LAN. And that's how I can connect a virtual device to a physical device. And that's how I can build this whole topology to work fine without any problem. And I can practice ZTP and SD-WAN. We can even do ZTNA. All of that will be coming on this channel. So if you like tech content, if you like tutorials, if you like configurations, make sure you subscribe, because most of it is going to come here. I just realized that I also don't use this angle here, which is actually unfortunate because I like this angle. Let's go back to OBS. Where's my OBS? It's right there. I need to make sure this is enabled. All right. Okay. Now let me log in to my virtual environment, and I'm going to show you what's going on in there. This is some research that I was doing for somebody, doing my French live. All right, so now I am inside ESXi. As you can see, I have about 61 VMs. I had to delete some of them lately. Of course, not all of them are up all the time. Usually what I do is that I can come here and sort by host CPU, so I can see which ones are up. Only these few are up, the other ones are down. Okay, so I am here, and if we go under networking, if I scroll down to all the way to networking, you can see that I have, of course, I filtered port groups to HQ. Let me remove that. So under port groups, I have a ton of port groups. As you can see, this one I called it dead zone. This is where I put anything or any network interface card that doesn't have to go anywhere. I just attach it to this zone here. But as you can see, BR2 LAN has 2 active ports and has a tag of 141. This is the VLAN ID for the BR2 LAN. So if we come back to our topology here, anything that is in this BR2 LAN should be attached to that BR2 LAN port group. Let's go back there. I was showing this. All right, so that's how I differentiated this. And if you log into it, or if you open it, you can see that I'm attached to the main network interface card. By the way, let's talk about that. Let's go back to networking. And here I have, let's say, physical NICs. As you can see, I have 5 physical NICs. And this first one is the 10 gig. If you look at this here, it shows you the speed. This is a 10,000 megabit per second full duplex. So this is the only one that is up right now. This is where most of my VMs are connected. The other ones, I use them depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. But for now, everything is coming through this first one here. And all the traffics are tags. Of course, I mean tagged. I'm talking about except the native VLAN that is not tagged in here. So if I click on it, you can see the details about that port. But if I go back to networking and then go to virtual switches, these are the 3 virtual switches I do have. And this is the switch by default that comes with the host. If I open it, you can see down here that I have a ton of port groups attached to that virtual switch. And that's where each port group has its own VLAN ID, and I can have many VLANs running through that same link going to my FortiGate. And now let me log into the FortiGate. This is the FortiGate I have. If I go under FortiSwitch VLANs, you can see that I have all the VLANs created here as well. I have BR1 WAN1, VLAN ID 130, and these VLAN IDs have to match the same VLAN IDs that you have inside your host. So the 130 is for BR1 WAN1, BR1 WAN2, 131, and so on. These are the list of all the VLANs that I have created. And then if I go under FortiSwitch port, this is where I'm able to allocate the different VLANs to the port. Like in this case, we can see under rack FortiSwitch, and the rack FortiSwitch is the one that is behind me, the top one, where everything is connected to. So rack FortiSwitch, port 1 is HQ1, port 2 is HQ12, port 3 is HQ LAN. So now all I have to do is just make sure that my ADE WAN1 port is connected to the port number 1 on this switch here. Port number 2 goes to WAN2, port number 3 goes to any internal or LAN port, and that's how I get connectivity between the physical deployment or the physical devices and virtual devices I have inside of ESXi. And also because I want to make sure even the IP addresses are respected, and WAN1 and WAN2 are going to be the only default gateway to this device. I mean, the only links to the device, and the default gateways will be interfaces on one emulator. And again, one emulator, if you haven't seen the video, it helps you do a lot. You can change latency, packet loss, jitter, everything from the one emulator screen. We will do that in our labs, and stay tuned for that. So the only way out is through WAN emulator. And to do that, I need to make sure that the interface that is out here is known by my FortiGate, and I have a static route telling the FortiGate where all these VLANs or all these subnets are located. So that's why I had to create a new static route entry in my FortiGates. If you go under network and then static routes, as you can see, I have a static route here. It says anything 10.128.0.0/9 is attached to this IP here. And this is the IP address of one emulator in my home network. And all the traffic going to this subnet will be sent there. That's how it should be working. And it's been working for me fine. I've been playing with it from a long time. I mean, since a couple months now. So I will be creating those videos for you. ZTP, SD-WAN, ZTNA, all covering Fortinet on this channel. This is all I want to show you today. If you have any questions on this design, if you have any questions on the deployment, you can leave them in the comment, or I can check the chat right now, see if you have any questions. But it should be straightforward, and I'm ready to implement those technologies and play with them. Let's see if we have any questions right now before we wrap this up. It's not going to be a long one today because there isn't much to say beside the design that I showed you. Where's the tab? All right. Dandino on Facebook. Thank you for sharing and everything. Thank you guys for being online. Hello, sir. Can you make video on making own Linux from scratch? Making own Linux from scratch? What do you mean? Like deploying a Linux VM? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure, but I can do it. I think I've done a video on Linux, on Rocky Linux installation here. We can work on it later on, but Linux should be straightforward, depending on the flavor you want to deploy. G Universe Corporation, Bendile Kuyatida, that's my brother there from the Congo, referring to the flag that I have behind me. So I think that's all for today, guys. It was really short, and it explains my design that I currently have. Let's see if there is anything else I can say. Oh, talking about the FortiManager. The FortiManager is also a VM in my ESXi environment, and the VM is directly attached to my home network. So compare, from these devices perspective, the FortiGate is just somewhere out on the internet, because that's all they know. That's how they can reach it. And the FortiGate will also be able to talk to these devices through one emulator, and that's how I can mimic whatever design I need in this case. So I will have the FortiManager ready. I will have maybe the hub ready, and we can configure together the branch number 1 so that we will bring the branch number 2 through the ZTP. And then we can then deploy the SD-WAN overlay on the branches, and then we can also delete this device to see how we can bring it on board and get it to get the SD-WAN designs or SD-WAN configurations directly from the FortiManager. That's going to be the goal, and we will have to work on that maybe sometime Thursday, because I know it's Thursday is off here in the US for Independence Day. So I may do that on Thursday, or next Sunday we'll talk about ZTP. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to like it on YouTube and share it with your community. And if you want to watch the behind the scenes, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Kibisuku and KBTrainings. And if you are studying for the CCNA, the course is on KBTrainings.com. Go there and check it out. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and bye to you all.